Just want to start from the start. As you know, you get the start, you got another new teammate getting the start. What's it like, that process of you just thrown right in there and get to work?
It's the NBA. When you get traded mid-season, you got to figure it out. And that's something trying to do. We've great teammates here, great coaching staff, and everyone's been wonderful to me. So I'm excited. We didn't win today, but we got a lot coming down the stretch.
At least in that first quarter, it seemed like maybe the offense wasn't working as well, but you were defensively as a team getting some stops. And what did you like about the start? And obviously things started to change late in the first and into the second.
We know what we can do, for sure. I feel like we showed that in the first quarter, but I feel like we lost it a little bit. I feel like even myself, but put a whole 4 quarters together, we'll be all right.
How hard is it with the spacing, knowing where guys are going to be? What is that process like? Obviously, in one game, it's not going to all get figured out, but what was that like?
Just trying to figure it out. My spots on the floor. It's all new teammates for me. So, and I'm going to figure it out. I enjoy it. I enjoy the process.
Andrew, how different do you think it'll be when you have Tyler in there with he's been obviously a primary scorer and playmaker?
Yeah, I think it'll be great. He's an all-star for a reason. In the game, he's going to score the ball. He's going to create for other guys. He's a very tough matchup. So I'm excited to get on the floor with him.
Does it almost feel like a laboratory where you have to figure out who you mesh with, who you melt with, what happens? So maybe even in a game like this where the shooting percentage isn't there, the win isn't there, at least maybe there are takeaways. Oh, Bam likes it there. Oh, I can see I can get the ball there. Is that what this process is going to be like, maybe at least through the All-Star break?
For sure. Just, figuring out, what guys like to do, especially spots on the floor, both offensively and defensively. And, that chemistry will come with time.
And what's it been like, because it's the same process almost as Golden State. These are sort of desperate times. We're talking play-in, we're talking, under 500, around 500. So what's it like to have to learn to go through the desperation and all the while the season is sort of ticking away?
That's the NBA for you. It's never going to be easy. Every game's going to be a dogfight. Every game's important, especially for this team. And I'm learning my way through, but at the end of the day, it's basketball. I've been playing it since I was a kid, so I think I'll be fine.
With the ramp up that you have to get to know your teammates, get to know the system, does your All-Star break change at all from what it would have been if you hadn't been traded? In other words, does it change your plans or all or anything?
No, I just had a kid not too long ago, so I'm just going to go back, be with my family, work out, get ready.
You're going to read your kid the playbook every night?
He might enjoy it, might put him to sleep.
After trade, obviously X's and O's of the game will change, but what's it like coming into a new building with a new jersey and new fan base?
It feels good. Everyone's been, super nice. Everyone's, just been kind of showing me the way, and, it's been exciting. It's Miami, got great fans, great coaching staff, great teammates, so I'm excited to be here.
Davion, obviously it's tough enough to get thrown into a different situation, even in an off-season trade, let alone in-season. So what's it like to go out there to play with a bunch of sort of perfect strangers and still have to win a game? Sort of, what was that like, everything all at once?
Yeah, like you said before, it's tougher in the season because you don't get that many practices, playing with one another. You don't really know what are each other's strengths, weaknesses. From scouting report, but it's a little bit different when you're on the same team. But we don't get discouraged about it. That's a really good team. We got, like I said before, we got to find each other's rhythm. We got to find our rhythm. I know Wiggs and Anderson and Kyle hasn't played basketball in like 3-4 days because the trade's happening. That's no excuse, but they got to get their win. They're still trying to figure everything out. So we wasn't really discouraged. We took really good shots. We was just off.
Davion, on the positive side of things, what did you take away from those first 5-6 minutes from the starters and what you guys are getting down on the defensive end?
Yeah, I think that, it's going to be really hard to score on us. I think that we got a lot of players that can move their feet. Like I said before, we got Khalil on the backside that can block shots, who can also get rebounds, who's a really smart defender. He's still young, but he's still learning each day and day, especially when you got Bam teaching him. And then you got Bam that can switch on to anyone 1 through 5. It makes your defense a lot harder to score on, honestly. But we got to carry on to 48 minutes. Like Coach said before, we got to keep building on it. We did good in the first quarter, and then we kind of let them hit shots, and then they got confidence, and then we got discouraged. So I think that we'll do a better job next time.
Davion, I know it's been a whirlwind for you, especially with trades and everything like you mentioned, and now you got to go back on a road trip with this team. How important is it to have that mental toughness through this time, and especially coming off a loss and in the trades especially?
Yeah, I mean, we just can't get down. We can't feel sorry for ourselves because no one's going to feel sorry for us. And we got another good team. We about to play against the number one defense in the league. Then you got really good players over there. So we just got to figure it out. I think the main thing is we go out there and play hard. Take the same shots we took tonight. I feel like we took a lot of open shots we were just missing. So some of those going to fall, and we'll be fine.
Davion, can you just take us into the last couple of days for you and just what the process has been and just getting ready for this game? Like what have you been able to get exposed to in terms of the playbook, and what has that process been like for you?
Like you want me to take you through like what happened in the trade, or like what do you want to know?
What you've been able to kind of do in these last couple of days to help you prepare for this game. And it's been a short time.
For me, it's just looking at personnel for our team, see where people want the ball at, like where are they best at in positions, because I can get downhill, make plays. That's kind of what I look at. And for me on the defensive end, I just go out there and play hard. There's no schemes with that. Just go out there and play hard. And I got to still learn a lot of stuff in our playbook. But, Coach Spo makes it a little bit simple, so it's not really that hard. But everything will be good.
We saw in the first couple minutes the playmaking from you offensively, just being that setup guy. All the talk about your defense, but where do you kind of see your offensive role being? Is that kind of what you see, what you saw in those kind of first 8-10 minutes?
Yeah, I think that being in the NBA, you kind of get this tag when you really good defensively and you had bad stretches offensively and where you was before, and now it's like, oh, he can't play offense. I think I'm a really good playmaker. I've shown it before, even when I was with the Kings, but it is what it is. I feel like I can make plays. I can get by my man. I can make layups. I can do a lot of things, but I got to make them tonight, and I'll be fine. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Obviously, no Tyler tonight hurts, but offensively, how much of this is going to be a work in progress just as you continue to work through the kinks with the new guys and trying to find solutions on that end of the court?
Yeah, we're going to figure it out. Easier said than done, but, come on, man. What are we doing? It was you? I look at the positive. We only have 4 turnovers. Coach has really been on us about our turnovers, and to have 4 against a team like that, it speaks to what we can be. Obviously, we didn't shoot it well from 3, and I feel like that was the game right there. I feel like everything else was in our wheelhouse besides, obviously, lost the rebounding by 1. So, yeah, it's more positive than negatives in this game. Obviously, we lost, but when, you got 2 new guys in the starting lineup trying to figure out our system and trying to figure out what they can be at this point, they're going to get comfortable, and we're going to figure it out.
Coach said a lot of it's the spacing and just how things are working on offense. How quickly, even players who've been experienced guys like that have been in the league, how quickly can you expedite that? Or is that what's going to come more maybe after the All-Star break?
How quickly? We have one of the greatest coaches in the league in history, actually. So I'm not going to worry about how quick it's going to be for them. We just, this is first game for them. Obviously, they're trying to figure out what shots to take, buy into the system. And once they do that, we'll make a couple runs.
You're so in tune with this group's defense, with Davion and Wiggins in that starting group. In that first 6 minutes when it was really going well, what sort of potential defensively did you see?
Man, we can hold a lot of teams under 20 points in a quarter when we're really locked in, we're really communicating and flying around. As you can see, we actually did have a 20-point quarter. The first quarter, actually. And, it speaks that we we can do it. It just takes some time.
Bam, what have you seen maybe even practice and even in this game from a guy like Davion Mitchell, where obviously the defense is up there, but the playmaking was really on point, especially in that first quarter?
I mean, we've played against Davion a lot. It's not just, the defense doesn't shock us at all. I mean, they've been calling the man off night since college, so you understand what he brings on that side. But, we played against him and see how he can manipulate the game in ways of, his passing and how quick he is and being able to read the game, in quick situations. So, like I said, once we get him comfortable and he understands he can really run the show, we're going to make a run.
Thank you, man.
Yep.
Okay.
At times you saw the defensive upside of this group, but offensively it seemed to be a struggle for most of
Yeah,
the
we're going to have to work on it. Spacing, decision making. That's actually been two consistent themes the last handful of weeks, and we're going to continue to work on it until we get more clarity, confidence on what's working for us. And there was times where it looked disjointed, obviously. And against a team like Boston, you have to execute with intention and purpose. Otherwise, they can flatten you out with their switches or with just the size at the rim. So you're constantly going to have to make decisions. The decisions end up being a little bit clearer if your spacing is better, but that doesn't solve everything. It still ends up being decision making, when you have the ball in your hands, and that's what we'll get better at.
The defense with that starting group in the first 5-6 minutes looked
Yeah.
strong, and,
Yeah.
and what was there in that stretch that wasn't there? Kind of.
Yeah, what I felt like was our resolve and focus lost steam, when we started to get disjointed offensively. And that happens with teams. It happens with young teams. It happens with, some inexperienced teams. That's also a big thing that we'll overcome. To be able to function defensively, even if we've had 4 or 5 straight possessions where we missed shots or it didn't go the way we wanted it to. Well, we'll work on that and improve that, and hopefully, not go through those stretches where there's so many possessions in a row offensively that are not great. But we still have to be able to function on the other end, which we're capable of. We saw it, at least the disposition, and everybody on the same page. And as they started to chip away, they started to get more open shots, more open threes. They end up making 9. They end up shooting 32 in the first half. That's not a recipe for good success, for them. So that now they've gotten everything going that they want to get in their game. They get close to 63s on pace for that, and then Tatum now can operate in space and pretty much do what he wanted to in the second half.
Celtics, of course, they like to shoot a lot of threes, and they're obviously good defensively, and you guys shot a lot of threes to keep up with them. But how much of that is a balance of settling for threes and also not necessarily being aggressive going to the basket as you could be?
It's pretty much a function of what I was talking about. It's decision making and then the spacing. That works hand in hand. We know that we're at our best when we're getting aggressive paint touches, but there's still a decision at the end of that paint touch. So I'll look at it, but I don't think the threes were an issue. I think some of the spacing and decision making.
Your thoughts on the newcomers? Obviously, it's tough to come in, not know a lot. You started 2 of them. What are your thoughts on the play, the 3, and your approach with the lineup tonight, please?
I see the potential in all 3 of them. I think they can be big-time value adds, to what we're trying to do. We want to get them as comfortable as possible. I think Wiggs, once he gets really comfortable, you can see, that the areas that he can help on both ends of the court. But he's a weapon, offensively, defensively. He can really move. He has that kind of length and unique ability to move laterally. And then the other 2 guys, they'll fit right in defensively with what we're doing.
Coach, with Davion, it seemed like his playmaking was really on point today. I know he's known for his defense, but the passing ability, especially in that first quarter, what did you like to see from him, and maybe what's to come for him?
Yeah, we'll give him clarity on what he needs to do. Look different with Tyler in there. But I was encouraged, by the playmaking. He was able to get the ball back to Bam, a couple times, get the ball to Wiggs. He'll be able to get the ball to Tyler, where he needs to. So we'll get him clarity on that.
To the point of no Tyler, is there anything that you saw tonight that when he is back in the rotation, but he's like on the bench and like in spots of the game that that the team can build on offensively without him on the court?
With Tyler?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. With Wiggs and we have enough firepower, but we're gonna have to iron out these other two big levers, spacing and our decision making. All right, thank you.